So Matt, obviously a big card for you here, and you made a very unique fight announcement for when this came together. Just tell us what was the inspiration to kind of take that to Twitter and social media.
Yeah, the credit belongs to my twin brother, the cheese roller back there. He's been helping me a lot behind the scenes, and he's been pushing me to get on Twitter and really like connect with MMA Twitter. So we had to do a pretty cool fight announcement.
Yeah, do you feel like, have you noticed the benefits of that? Like, do you feel like there's a greater interest from fans in this fight because of that?
Yeah, definitely. Before I got on Twitter, I didn't even realize like how many people actually cared about watching me fight. These guys on Twitter, they're all funny. They're all, we have fun. We make jokes, and it's a good time.
Do you have any opinions on what was in Ottman's bag over on Fight Island?
I mean, what did he say? He said potatoes. He said potatoes, but probably not USADA approved potatoes. Hence why he probably got cut, or why he got cut at the time. So, who knows? I'm over the potatoes. I'm over the bag. I'm ready for him to show up, on weight, make weight, and I'm ready to fight him.
It seems like there is a lot of potential concerns that we're talking about with the weight, the other stuff. Do you just take kind of a blank mentality in there, like no matter what happens, you're going in there and fighting this guy?
Yeah, I can only focus on what I can control, and I'm ready. I'm on weight, and I'm gonna be ready to fight. And I saw him the other day. I shook his hand. I told him have a good weight cut, and I hope he does, because he better show up ready, because I'm ready.
What do you think kind of the keys to victory are for you here in this fight?
I think mixing it up. I'm a well-rounded mixed martial artist. With the wrestling, with the jiu-jitsu, with the striking, and going in there into the cage and using, every aspect of martial arts is what I love the most and what really comes the most natural to me. So I think going in there and using, everything that I can do.
And beating a guy like him, what do you think that does for your career? I know you'd call out Patty and some other bigger names in the division. Do you feel like it gets you one of those fights?
Yeah, every next fight is the biggest fight. So, this is another undefeated guy. The last guy I just fought was undefeated. Gave him his first loss. And, this guy's undefeated. And I'm going to give him his first loss. And, this guy needs to be humbled. And who better to humble him than me?
Going back to your straight in front of you, right here. Yeah. Going back to that video, I noticed in one of the elbows you landed, it seemed like you kind of jacked up your, you kind of gashed open your arm a bit. Yeah. When that happened, were you like, man, did I just I don't know, do I need stitches or whatever? Like, were you kind of a little nervous?
No, it was a little blood, a little blood never hurt, never messed anything up. But yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, and part of the reason I asked that is I know you've been really, before you were booked for this fight, you were really trying to stay active and that the opportunities weren't coming. So I guess going forward, is that just one of your main goals in the next year or so, to get the reps in more than anything?
Yeah, I always, want to stay busy and want to fight as much as possible. And, this year, I had a great fight in January. I was hoping to fight this summer, and it didn't work out. I was ready, but I was in the gym. I was training. I was helping my team out. We had a lot of Contender Series guys that I was sparring and helping, and I had a great summer. I didn't have a fight, but I had a great summer training and living this life.
Matt, you've been booked against him before. You were at Fight Week. You were really close to having that fight happen. 2 years later, you're booked again. I mean, how much relief is it to be here, hopefully have a fight, and then be able to move on from him to somebody else?
This is the second full camp I've done for this guy. So I'm excited to go out there and do it, when the first fight got canceled, I was definitely bumming, but I was glad I at least got to fight in Abu Dhabi. But as soon as I heard that they signed him back to the UFC, I knew I wanted that fight back, because I love the matchup, and I wanted this fight, and we got it. And we got it on the biggest stage in the world, Madison Square Garden.
No, he actually hasn't fought in over 2 years now. Is it hard to prepare for somebody that you haven't seen anything they've done in 2 years? Like any improvements they could have made, or?
No, I watched enough film of his. I've got my breakdown, and again, this is the second full camp I've done for him, and he's a righty boxer with heavy hands, throws a kick here or there, wants to keep it standing. It's not rocket science getting ready for this kind of guy. So I'm ready.
Do you have a prediction?
I'm gonna finish him. That's it. Every time I fight, I go in there to finish, and this one I'd like to drag him to the deep waters and finish him late.
Good luck to you.
All right. I've been asking everyone this at Media Day, unrelated to your fight, but this is going to be Frankie Edgar's last fight of his MMA career. So were you a fan of Frankie coming up? Do you have any memories, either watching him or just being around him in the UFC?
Yeah, Frankie's a legend, and I remember, when I first was coming up, my favorite fighter was actually BJ Penn, and I loved BJ Penn, and then this guy Frankie Edgar comes up and starts beat up BJ Penn twice, and I was like, who is this guy? And then I find out he's a Jersey guy, and I start watching all his fights, and I was like, how can you not love this guy? So, yeah, Frankie's a legend, and watching, just the way he fights, he's like a Rocky, He gets knocked down, but he gets back up, and he keeps coming. You got to love him.
Do you have any thoughts on the main event between Izzy and Alex?
Yeah, I got to go with Stylebender. I think Stylebender's the man. He's the man for a reason. And I know he's lost to this guy twice, but this is a mixed martial arts fight, so it's gonna be different.
Over here, Matt. What's going on? Stan the Man from Menace and the Man, one of Matt Frevola's favorite podcasts.
What up, Stan?
How are you, brother? So you got to be excited for fighting this close to home. How many people do you think you're going to have in the building on Saturday?
We'll see. I mean, MSG cranked up the prices for this one, It's crazy, but we'll have a good amount of friends, a good amount of family, and, all the Long Island, all the New York people, will be riding with me. And I appreciate that kind of support, fighting at home, having the New York, the Long Island people, out there representing and cheering for me is a dream come true.
So you train extensively with Aljamain. What's it been like for you training with Aljamain, doing the same workouts as him, and now seeing him rise to being one of the best bantamweights of all time, a champion who's defended the belts numerous times? You've been right there with him. What's it been like being on this journey, and how much is he inspiring you to see that you could do it?
It's unreal, watching Aljo train, and I remember the first time I started training with him. He's like a little, he's a 135er. I'm a 155er, and I get pretty heavy. And then he gets his hands on me, and I'm like, geez, man, like I think I need to go down a weight class. He's a beast, and his work ethic is unreal. And then he's so helpful too. He coaches everyone on the team. He helps everyone, and I knew he would be a champion from day one. And watching his career, his highs, his lows, the way he came back from adversity as well, and then taking it all the way to the world championship was so motivating and inspiring. He inspires everybody around him, and I'm lucky to call him a teammate and a friend.
And then final one for me, it's a two-parter. Now that you're getting into Twitter, why don't you get on Twitter and start lobbying, making FrevFest a national holiday on Long Island? And then also, where are you partying after you get the W on Saturday?
Oh, man, yeah. Yo, Stan, you should have came to FrevFest. Let's go.
I missed them all. I know. I'm a loser.
I know. But this summer, I'll try to get a fight in, June, and then July. We have a nice Frevola beach banger at the house. We have a good time on Long Island on the water, and I have my annual badminton tournament, which I'm actually not the champ right now. My brother's the champ, but you get to get a game with me in badminton if you beat my dad, because I don't think you could beat my dad though.
No.
And after the fight, we'll see. We'll see, man.
All right, I got some beers for you.
There you go. Appreciate
See you
it.
soon. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, bro.